This is the 15th episode of God's Chosen podcast. Today we are going to talk about love, dates, and etc. We're going to talk about how our perception of love may not actually be love. Let's get into it. Enjoy.
What up, what up? Chosen ones, it's God's Chosen. Out here another beautiful evening. Tonight, I want to talk about something near and dear to my heart. Let's talk about love tonight. We're going to talk about love. It kind of got me excited when I said that. I got to calm down. All right, so we're going to talk about love. So, in my life, there have been times where I thought I was in love. I thought I knew what love felt like. You know what I mean? But I came to find out that no, I had no idea. I wasn't for real. I think early on, coming up, I think we all have this misguided notion when it comes to love. I remember when I was pre-adolescence, and I had feelings for different girls, and over time developed feelings that I thought was love. But honestly, that was just infatuation. When I look back at it, it was infatuation. It wasn't love, because I didn't know everything that love consisted of back then. It was for sure infatuation. It was for sure me thinking that was love at the time. And it's just wild, because the other thing that I remember is my brain being messed up from watching TV and their depiction of what love was. Because that was not what real life was. You know, all those little romantic comedies and what have you. Watching that, and then real life, it was not meshing. It was way different. Because that was some fantasy. You know, in real life, it was different. It was just, you try to do that in real life, people gonna look at you funny. You know, my bro, we had a conversation one time, and we were talking about being a gentleman. And a lot of times as a gentleman, you may bring flowers on a first date. And he shared an experience where he did do that. And by this time, I was wise enough to know, man, don't bring no flowers on no first date. Because, and it's not I don't want to do that. I would want to do that. But the problem is, a lot of women don't know how to accept that because they've never had that. So they look at you like you strange or you needy, because you're just being a gentleman. You're just wanting to be nice and provide a good experience, a memorable experience for the lady that you're going on a date with. But if they never had that, they don't know how to receive that. So their defense is, this guy's weird, or he's needy, or something along those lines. Basically, you coming on too strong. You doing too much. You know what I mean? But yeah, you went out, on a date, brought flowers, and the girl did not appreciate it. And like I said, she wasn't used to it. And it's not entirely her fault. It's just whatever she thought were good practices for a first date, that was not on the list. Because I'm guessing no one else had ever brought flowers. And I think she said, "Oh, that's corny." That's what she said. She said it was corny because he brought flowers on a date. Now, me in the present moment, I probably would have got up and left the table and took my flowers and went home. Straight up. Because, first of all, do you understand there are not that many guys in the world that are that thoughtful to even think of bringing you flowers on a first date? And it's not on no, I'm trying to take advantage of you stuff. You got brothers that will do that, but you also got sincere ones that will be bringing you flowers just cause. They want to do something nice for you. They want to treat you like a lady, right? That's how they was raised, you know? And so it leads me to believe, like, what was her experience growing up? Did she not see dad bring mommy flowers? Did she not see them go on dates? But what I'm guessing is she probably would appreciate the flowers more if they were actually dating, if they were actually together. And I could understand that. I could see that. But that doesn't mean there's something wrong with a guy bringing you flowers on a first date because he's raised a certain way to treat a lady like a lady. And that's the crazy part too, y'all. A lot of ladies don't know how to accept that treatment because they've never been treated like a lady. They've always been treated less than. Or they've always been dealing with guys who didn't see their value. You know, guys that put them down so they could be looked up to. You know what I mean? So, like, if they've never experienced dating someone like that, yeah, they probably gonna say that person is corny. But are they really corny? Or you just haven't gotten to the age where you know your worth yet? You know what I'm saying? You got ladies out there, if a guy didn't bring them flowers on the first date, they may not have a second date. Because they know they have expectations going into a date. It's not always about the best or the flyest steakhouse. You know, everybody want to go to a steakhouse. Everybody want to go to all these expensive restaurants. And while there's nothing wrong with that, I don't necessarily date to go to these high-end establishments. They're cool. Nothing wrong with them. But I feel like you've got to be able to get to know somebody anywhere. You should be able to go anywhere and have a great time if you're with the right person. And that's how I feel. It's more about the experience for me. It's not necessarily, oh, I spent $500 and I had a crappy experience. Or I had an okay experience that I could have had had I just spent like $100, had the same experience. So the only thing different is I lost a couple $100. And ladies, you got to understand, for a guy, especially handsome guys, there are a lot of women that want to go out. A lot of women that want to go out. And if we're constantly entertaining women that want to go to these high-end establishments and we're not seeing enough of a return, we're not going to do it. We're not going to want to do it. We're not going to entertain it because it doesn't lead anywhere other than a young lady getting a free meal and some to-go boxes. You know, a brother get left with, thank you, or a bye, or a, next to nothing, and I'm not talking about anything sexual. What I'm talking about is an experience. Did we have good conversation? Did we get to know each other on a level that was more than superficial? Did we have fun? Did we laugh? Stuff like that. Because I believe that you should be able to have the great experience no matter where you are if you're with the right person. It doesn't matter if you're spending $500 or $500 as long as you're with the right person. That is what makes all the difference to me. But everybody's different. So, it is what it is there. Now let's touch this. Let's touch on this a little bit. Like, so we date with the expectation of hopefully moving a situation forward, right? And a lot of times we date, but we never get to the stage where it's like, I think I love this person, or I love this person, or I'm in love with this person. Nowadays, it's just a lot of dates without any real substance. You might go on a date and it may be people got motives, people got intentions to get you back to the crib. You know what I mean? And then when that does happen, when you go back to the crib and they get what they want, you get what I assume you want, now the relationship becomes strictly physical. And you don't necessarily get a chance to build a love. That's why I like to take my time in relationships, because I don't want to get sexually attached if I don't feel any love. Like, that's a waste of my time. That's a waste of my time, and that's a waste of the other person's time if they have those same beliefs. But I guess if they did, they probably wouldn't be doing, sex right off the bat after a few dates. Because you never really know somebody that soon. You can't know somebody that soon. You live and you learn. We all have experience where we've dated someone for a short time and we think like, oh, this person legit, this the one, only to find out that it was a smokescreen and they just put their good foot forward so they could come across a certain way to get whatever it is they wanted. And once they got what they wanted, now you see the real person and you like, how could I not see this? And the reason why you can't see this, because we got some professionals out there. We got some professional manipulators out there that do this so much that they are able to pull the wool over the most observant eye. And that's because they've been doing it so long. They have everything down pat. They already know the questions that's going to be asked. They've been in so many situations that they're ready for anything. And they have an answer for everything that sounds legit, that sounds good. And it makes you think, okay, it make you think like you dealing with a real one, and then you come to find out, it's not the case. And that's why you gotta put in that time, because you can only fake it for so long before the truth is exposed. And a lot of times, the ones that coming along with the facade, you gonna notice they gonna want to move fast. They gonna want to get in and get out. That's a sign, y'all. That's a sign, ladies. They gonna want to get in and get out. And then you got the ones that's like, they want to go at a moderate pace, but they going at a moderate pace because you're not the only one, and they know this might take some time. So they making it look like it's all good when they have other people on the side. Now, nothing is wrong with dating multiple people if you let the person know that you're dating, that you are dating multiple people, and that's fair if you want to see who is the right person for you. You know what I'm saying? That's fair, but everybody got to know what's going on. You can't keep people in the dark trying to keep this person, separated from those experiences just so you can keep them as an option. That's not cool. We got to do better than that. But as I was saying about, experiencing love, a lot of us think that we've experienced it until we actually do. Oh, you hear me? We think we've experienced it until we actually do. Until somebody comes around and they change our whole perspective on what we thought love was. Because we grew up in a certain environment where it may not have been cool to express your feelings. You may have been taught to keep your feelings in, because it's weak when you express yourself. You open yourself up to get taken advantage of. Well, I'm going to tell you something about that. Whenever you're dealing with a person, you open yourself up to get taken advantage of. It doesn't matter if you are expressing yourself or not. If you are in communication with somebody, you talking to somebody, they have the same ability to hurt you, whether you are expressing your feelings or not. Because what happens is, if you are expressing your feelings, then you may feel like this person now has all the tools he needs to manipulate you. Okay, maybe, if that's what they on. But what if that's not what they on? What if you guys are actually on the same page and they express their feelings and it's actually a mutual love? Y'all both want the same thing. But you would not know that unless you actually expressed yourself. Because by the lack of expression, now it's like one party may have feelings. They don't know if you got feelings like they think you do, because you're not really expressing it. And so now it causes some kind of tension in the relationship where somebody feel like games are being played and may not want to continue because it seems like there's feelings, but there is no expression of feelings. And people don't want to invest all this time into something where they know the more time they invest, the bigger the heartbreak. So that can't be good, right? But what if you got somebody who shows you something you've never seen before in love? What if you met somebody where after interacting for so long and communicating and spending time, they actually grow to like you and maybe even love you? But it scares you away because you feel like there may be an ulterior motive, because this can't be real, right? Can't be real, right? And I get that. I get that to an extent. It's all going to be predicated on your past experiences and how you were raised and things of that nature. So I get that to an extent. But I also get, like, what if it's not? What if it's actually real? What if it's not a facade? What if this is the one time where it's actually real and you somehow manage to self-sabotage it because you don't trust it and you don't trust the way that it's making you feel, because you're actually more invested than you would like to admit? Rich. But it's a wild ride. It's a wild ride when you talk about people coming together. You talk about past experiences that mold or shape their current perception. There are a lot of factors, and we ain't even mentioned outside influences. We ain't even mentioned that. Outside influences definitely help to shape that perception, especially if they're telling you something that goes against what you know and what you feel. They're coming in like some kind of expert when they ain't got their shit together. They love life in shambles. They don't have a love life. You know what I mean? So we got to listen to who we take advice from. You know, one time I showed a picture of somebody I was interested in to an associate. I actually showed him two pictures, two possibilities. And there was one possibility where I'm knowing this is the possibility that I want, this is the road I want to go down. And I showed this associate these two pictures, and he pointed to the second one, the one that I wasn't really considering as the main option. And at that point, I knew I would never take his advice again. Straight up. He pointed me to the thing that was not the best choice for me. It was poor advice. Like, he didn't ask me, like, which one do you like? That would be the, which one do you feel closest to? He just went ahead and pointed to one. Not cool, bro. He just went ahead and pointed. And once he did that, I knew I would never ask him for anything again, because this dude is trying to steer me down the wrong path right away. So, nope. Got to be conscious, got to be cognizant of what those around you say versus what they do. Because sometimes you ask people for advice and they give you bad advice because they want what you have or what you could potentially have. Don't fall for those traps. Listen to your own gut. Listen to your own instincts. And if you're not sure, then you need to spend more time with that person so you can find out more information to make you feel comfortable. But if you want information, it's always best to get it from the source and then use your discernment as to whether or not it was genuine or if it was BS. And if you can't tell if it's genuine or BS, then you need to spend more time around that person if you're so inclined. And you may want to see that person when they're amongst their friend group so you can see how their friends think about them, how their friends feel about them, and maybe they got a girl or two that's real in the clip that might actually give you some insight. But, all that is 50-50. You never know how that's going to go because maybe you got a girl in the crew that like your boy. You don't know. But it might give you a little bit of insight. It might give you some information to see if it lines up with what you think you know. You may not get all the pieces to the puzzle right off the jump. But as you start speaking to others and connecting these pieces, you might get a clear picture of who this person is and if that's somebody you want to move forward with. And like for me, I remember another situation where I was in a relationship and, as I think about it, this got me thinking about Shawnee Henderson when she was like, I don't know if I ever really loved a man, referring to Shaq. And that's a heavy statement, but you got to take it in context, right? She was young. He was a hooper. And she may have enjoyed certain aspects of the life. But it's not until years later in self-reflection where she came to that conclusion. If you would have asked her back then, she would have been like, yeah, I love him, blah, blah, blah. That's my boo. You know what I mean? But now, 2024, self-reflection, she's like, and especially now that she's in a loving relationship, right? She's also got something to compare her last relationship with her current relationship, which is giving her a sense of clarity. And now she's like, man, I don't know if I ever really loved a man. I seen people that was like bashing her and coming after her. But wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. She's entitled to say what she feels. So what if it's Shaq? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. Y'all can't be tripping on this lady for stating her feelings. If y'all was in something and you had your feelings after a time, you don't want nobody coming after you. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. It is what it is. We not making nothing up. We being honest. We being true. That's what it is. Stop trying to bash this lady because she's expressing herself and sharing her opinion on her past relationship. Y'all wasn't in this relationship. Pause. Chill. Relax. Let that lady state her mind and have her expression. Get out her business. If you ain't like what she got to say, then keep it moving. You ain't got to listen. You ain't got to read it. But there's nothing wrong with that. Give her the space to say what she want to say. Now, back to my story. So, you know, in this relationship, and if I think back, I don't know if I'm feeling like Shawnee. I don't know if I was ever really in love. I don't know. I can't really say that. Because when you compare past to the present, and the presence is just like kind of like unbelievable in a sense, like you don't think that this type of thing exists. You know, at least you never thought it existed previously to it existing in your reality, right? It makes you question everything else, every previous relationship, every previous possible relationship. Like, I've never felt this before. I've never felt like this before. This is different. I like how this feels. Like, this feel like some really good possibilities right here. You know? But unless you've experienced that, then the only thing you have to compare is all your past relationships to your past relationships. And if they were no good, you have nothing of real substance to compare, because basically they were all relatively the same with maybe some differences, but basically the same. Nothing that really made you feel like, wow, this something different right here. This is hitting different. This could be the one for real, for real. You know? And prior to experiencing that, like I said, I probably never really would have thought just to that. But now that you've experienced it, it's like nothing else compares. It's like everything else just falls short, and you don't even want nothing else. Like, I had a sampler of this, like, I don't need nothing else. I'm good. Get that away from me. Get away, get away, get away, get away, get away. I don't need, nope, 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 nope. Bye. You know what I'm talking about? Real quick. No response. Right? None. No response. I'm good. That right there, that's what people live for. You know, people live for the feeling of true love. Not what we think is true love, but real, actual true love. And you can tell based off the treatment, the vibes, the communication, the way they make you feel. Real stuff. But listen, I'm going to end it right there. It's your boy God's Chosen, and I hope y'all have a good one. Talk to you soon. I'm out.